my name is Beck and welcome to a book haul. These are the books that I've kind of accumulated and bought and been sent over the course of the past few months because I haven't filmed a book haul in a while. So I haven't really been able to afford books because they're a little bit of a luxury, but thankfully I've been sent a few things and gifted a few things, and I had pre-ordered a few things so future me could benefit from getting a book in the mail. So let's dive into the books that I have recently acquired. First up, you probably would have seen this one. It is Descender Volume 1 and I read this for a readathon a couple of months ago. So I hauled it when I was in Sydney for a little trip with my best friend. So I've also got a vlog for that, and I actually got this and Deviate by J. Christoph in the same vlog, but I haven't got Deviate with me. So it is part of this book haul as well, but I just don't actually have it on me. So I got Deviate and I read that recently. I've put it in a wrap up so you can go and see my thoughts if you like. And I've also read Descender Volume 1. So this is a comic series. It is about a boy named Tim21 and he is a little robot. He has woken up on a planet and he's by himself. All of his family that he was situated with have been killed or they're all passed away and he doesn't know why. So he's trying to figure that out. And the people are kind of, I want to say a war, they're kind of at war as a species with robots, and they've got bounty hunters obviously going out to find and eliminate them. So that's kind of the premise of this story. I gave it a 3 or a 3.5 stars. I liked it and I found the art style beautiful, but it was just okay for a first volume. Next I got Monuments by Wilka Starkers, and this is a young adult kind of urban fantasy book. It is set in our world in Sydney in Australia, and it follows this boy who kind of accidentally stumbles onto the fact that there are gods existing in our everyday life, and there are monuments and they're hidden underneath different schools. It's kind of like a contemporary book mixed with a fantasy element because Wilka Starkers does write generally contemporary books and this is his first foray into fantasy. So I have read this one as well and I've talked about it more in a wrap up if you wanted to hear my thoughts further. It does have a few deeper themes in it. Aging family is one of them, and responsibility and resilience are other themes too. So it's probably a little bit mature for younger readers, but it's a good stepping stone for contemporary readers to jump into this one after reading mostly contemporary, because this isn't a full fantasy and it still has stuff that you can relate to really easily in our world. I also actually hauled the manga A Silent Voice, but I don't have it on me either. I keep getting it mixed up with something else that I've watched, and I think that's Your Name. I think A Silent Voice follows a girl who is deaf and it interrogates themes of bullying and suicide and things like that. So it's potentially going to be a really deep manga, and that's why I bought volume 1. I'm looking forward to reading it, but I just haven't got it with me, unfortunately. Next up, I hauled Dark Age by Pierce Brown, and you can check out my unboxing for the Fake Rate Hangover Recovery Kit box. But this is the 5th book in the Red Rising series. I'm obviously not going to say what is going on in this because that is going to majorly spoil you, but I'm actually really proud of myself. I've read this already, so the fact that I've read a few of these books before filming a book haul makes me happy. But if you didn't know what Red Rising is, I kind of describe it as the Hunger Games but in space. It's about this boy named Darrow, and he is a red, and there are different factions in the society, reds being the lowest and golds being the highest. And all of the colours that are below gold are basically forced into the roles that they're given. And they're essentially slaves, so Darrow is rebelling against this. He wants justice and equality. It's a YA book, but these have become more adult, and it's definitely crossed into themes that are darker and definitely more of an adult ballpark. I liked this one, but I think the initial trilogy are going to remain my favourites. Next, I hauled many editions of Dark Dawn. So I love this series. I love Nevernight. I love God's Grave. I love Dark Dawn. If you haven't read these, they're not YA fantasy, they're adult fantasy. So they're often marketed as YA, but on the first page there's a very brutal murder and a very graphic sex scene, so they're not YA at all. These follow an assassin called Mia Corvair, and she's basically seeking revenge for the death of her father. So she goes to an assassin school and becomes an assassin, and that is the basis of this story. The editions I got were luckily the advanced reading copy of the US Dark Dawn edition, and Jay actually gifted this one to me, which I'm very thankful for. I might have mentioned this in a previous video actually, but I wanted to mention all of these together. I was reached out to by a friend on Instagram, and she sent me the UK Australian advanced reading copy of Dark Dawn as well for my collection, and this was the last one I actually needed, and now my collection is basically complete. So I'm very happy about that, and this is the UK copy. And then I pre-ordered 2 UK hardback editions. So the first one is the Waterstones edition of Dark Dawn, and that just has the black sprayed edges. And then I also pre-ordered the hardback for the Goldsboro Books edition, and that actually, it has black edges on the very top, which I'm a little bit disappointed about. On the sides it has the Starry edition, and I was hoping that it would extend onto the sides, but it didn't. But this is still really pretty, so I can't really complain. And then going from one hyped up release to the other, I actually got sent Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo by Hachette. So thank you so much, Hachette. I've been anticipating this one. This is Leigh Bardugo's debut into adult writing. So this is her book about a girl named Alex, and Alex is going to Yale University, and she's going there specifically to find out about the secret society there. And I've read like the first chapter of this so far, and I think she's investigating ghosts and fanatics and extremists in this society. The main character Alex can see ghosts, and she can see them in full colour rather than just as grey. And that's kind of all I know, except that she went through a trauma early in her life, and it hasn't really described what that is. So I'm really looking forward to diving into this one. It is going to be epic, I think. Even though I've seen mixed reviews, I think that I'll like this one. And I actually got sent the advanced reading copy by Kat. I'll link her channel below. She actually got sent 2 copies by accident, and she mentioned it when we were at dinner when she was attending VidCon in Australia, and I was like, I would love to borrow one of these if you get 2. And she's like, you can just have it. So she gifted this to me, and I'm very thankful. So thank you, Kat. Now I have 2 copies of Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo, and I'm really hoping that I end up loving it and giving it 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I have 3 books, and these were all gifted to me by my friend Tam at Babbling Books. I'll also link her channel down below. She hosted a book blogger breakfast for the Melbourne Writers Festival, but I got really sick around then. I did a reading vlog around that time, and you can just hear in my voice that I got very sick, and I had to unfortunately take that day off because I had a fever, so I couldn't go all the way into the city. But she gave me the goodie bag that I was going to receive at the breakfast anyway, and there are a few books in there that I ended up keeping. So the first one is It Sounded Better in My Head by Nina Kenwood, and this isn't usually something that I gravitate towards. It's an adult romantic comedy, but I've just seen such stellar reviews for this that I couldn't resist holding onto it. It is such a lovely, bright, happy yellow, and I think it's really going to supplement me reading like grim dark fantasy books. So I'm looking forward to jumping into this maybe for the next Contemporary-a-thon at the start of next year, because I just did Contemporary-a-thon round 5, so maybe for round 6. This just seems like it would be lovely and a lot of fun, and that's why I got it. I don't really know much about the blurb or anything, but I tend to pick up a contemporary book now and then just to vary my reading a little bit, so this is definitely going onto that contemporary pile, and I'm looking forward to picking it up in the future. The second book that I got from that breakfast was The Farm by Joanna Ramos. Yeah, Joanna Ramos, and this seems like it's got Handmaid's Tale vibes in the sense that it's dealing with fertility, and it says that it's an unforgettable story about how we live and who truly holds power. It says, ambitious businesswoman Mei Yu runs Golden Oaks, a luxury retreat transforming the fertility industry. So it does deal with fertility and I think power as well. And it is blurbed by Madeline Miller, who wrote The Song of Achilles and Circe, which I've read recently and liked both of them. So that is a good sign. I hope I end up liking this book. And then lastly on this list, I have Ghost Bird by Lisa Fuller, and I, again, don't know what this is. I think it's YA. I think it deals with 2 twins named Stacey and Lainey, and that's the extent of my knowledge, really. I got it in my goodie bag, and Tam told me to hold on to it because she said that it was going to be really good, and I trust her recommendations, so I have kept it for that reason. I don't know when I'm going to get to this, honestly. The rest of the books in this haul are either read or they're going to be read very soon, so I anticipate that I'm going to read this very shortly as well. I've just read a bit more of the back and it sounds like a mystery. So it's Stacey is the only one who can find her sister. Will she find her in time? So maybe it's a good spooky October read. It's kind of got mystery thriller vibes to it. So these are all of the books that I have recently hauled. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you've read any of these or if you've hauled any of these as well. I would love to hear from you, but thank you for watching again, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.